And very importantly, you're here. And you are here, and you are now. And you're inviting yourself to turn within where it all begins, to begin to see there is no sin but a great mistake to mistake the presence of God for something other than it is. I welcome you to Agape today, that we're entering into this particular theme of the month, which is your triumphant spirit. It's initiation time, a topic from Moody blues to sacred views. And we're coming to an understanding that when, in fact, you shuffle off your misidentification with who and what you really are, and this is what happens, as I was sharing in the way of meditation service this morning, that this is what happens as you enter your coursework in the practice of meditation. There are moments that happen where you feel that your life is a sham. You begin to see that everything you thought you were, you are not. That you're not your body, you're not your possessions, you're not the things that have happened to you, not the things that you've done, that all of that narrow point of view by which individuals seek to eke out happiness from, you begin to see it's all a sham, it's all temporal, it's all transitory. And as you move through that particular phase of meditation, and you begin to have pinprick insights and revelations as to your real nature in being, you come to an awareness that your spirit is triumphant, that the spirit of the living God within you is impervious to time, experience, impervious to chance and to circumstance, that at some point in your unfoldment, you begin to come to an understanding of what it means that this joy that is within you is as Teilhard de Chardin would remind us, that joy is the absolute evidence of God. You begin to understand that it is intrinsic, and the world can't give you this joy at all, and nor can it take away when you understand your triumphant nature. Now, during this particular time in human history, when the intensity is upon us, where the vicissitudes of the world is weighing heavy upon individuals' minds, and they're developing a kind of a reactivity to the world and a defensive nature to everything bad that we are supposed to be afraid of in our life. So we're developing kind of a defensive posture against things that go bump in the night. This is obviously metaphysically an incorrect perception and an incorrect strategy of moving through the world. We must come to an understanding that it is initiation time. That it is a time of great initiation on the planet. And initiation is a moment in which you move from one level or one level of consciousness to another. You are expanding your awareness, and that this is a moment of great initiation. It is a moment in which we are to come to an understanding that we are in an intense training period, you see. And that when you are in an intense, and this is a shift of perspective, by the way, any shift of perspective and change of context by which you live your life offers you the ability to catch new ideas and to catch a higher order of thinking, to catch inspiration. When you're in a limited focus, you are blocking the inspiration from God, and that you're eking out your existence from your little tiny personality construct, which emerged from time and has the dynamic of merely seeking to survive, but does not have the dynamic of expanding itself into the beyond, into the unknown, where all of the spiritual goodies are. I said a lot there in that sentence. You should go back and meditate upon that for a while. Anyway, we're in this great initiation, and we are to shift our perspective to the fact that we are in a training period. That we are to train our mind, we are to train our body, we are to train our soul. And whenever you are in a training period, there are moments in which your littleness begins to dissolve. You go to a period of extreme exhaustion. And in this training period, when you release yourself beyond your littleness, beyond your limited nature, There is an expansion of consciousness, and you find your second wind. You find something beyond yourself that you didn't know existed if you had not gone through the training itself. The time in which we are living right now, we are to shift our perspective and see it as a training period so that we begin to participate in an initiation into a quantum leap of another stage of awareness. A quantum leap is moving from one stage to another without a ladder and without knowing how to get there. In other words, when you get there, you realize that there is here. It's already intrinsic within you. And so in this training period, as I said earlier, you begin to realize that the littleness of you is a sham. It's not the real you. It is transitory, and you have placed all your bets on your littleness to bring you happy, on your little personalities, on the things that you have humanly done to a limited degree. You placed all your bets upon that. But there is a triumphant spirit about you. There was a presence about you that when you go to the point of exhaustion, you have to, as I said, you have to train your mind. Right now, the mind is being used to just defend yourself against whatever the corporate media tells you got to defend yourself against in any particular moment. But right now, you have to train your mind. You have to train your mind with such an affirmative power that you develop the neurons to look for and to affirm and to see the possibilities that are around you, that life is for you and nothing is against you, that everything you can want and hope for and desire is already within you, that opportunities will emerge as you emerge. You have to begin to train your mind to such a degree that affirmation becomes where you live. And that possibilities becomes what you see. You have to train your body to such a degree that your moments of exercise, your moments of nutrition, is it in accordance with allowing, as I was saying in the earlier service, this light bulb to be so strong that it can carry the luminosity of the Spirit of God that is around you. You have to train your soul with the power of meditation, the power of prayer, so that the mind and the body and the soul are in harmony with something so magnificent during these times of great vicissitudes. There are so many people, as I've been saying recently, that have so normalized fear that if you're not in fear, you are abnormal, and you want to be abnormal in a crazy world. You don't want to fit into this world at all. You want to be fit to see the new world and to carry it even before it manifests. In the process of going through your initiation by right of consciousness, by right of spiritual practice, by right of your spiritual training, you begin to notice that there are moods that move through you cyclically. A mood is a cloud of the condensation of previously held points of view. And there are people walking on this planet that are hypnotized by the moods that pass through them. They give them importance. They actually think they're important. They actually lean into those moods. They actually allow those moods to determine their actions and their thoughts and their conversations. What a crock of nonsense. A spiritual being, a cosmic being, allowing a mood to alter what they are going to do in a particular day. When a moody blues comes through, it is time to move into having a sacred view of life. What do you do when the cloud of mood comes through? First of all, you do not ever use this sentence, I didn't feel like it. A lot of people are saying that right now at the beginning of the year. They started off the year with their resolutions, and they're going to walk around the block every day. They're going to take deep breaths. They're going to meditate. They're going to stop eating sugar. They're going to, you know the deal. And then somebody sees them a couple of weeks ago. Did you start that training program? Well, I started, but then I stopped. Well, why? Well, just didn't feel like it. That is psychological pathology. It's called an excuse that's being turned into a reason. It's just a mood that's passing by. So what do you do when a mood comes? First of all, you observe the mood. You don't let it take you over. You look at it. And then when you observe it, you kind of embrace it. You don't resist it. And there it is, you see. And then as you embrace it, you look for the lie in the mood. There's a lie there. There's a lie about limitation. There's a lie about you're not strong enough. There's a lie about you're not good enough. There's a lie in the mood. Oh, I come from a family of people who never accomplished anything. I come from this. There's a lie in there. And then once you see that lie, you go back to the training of the mind and you begin to tell yourself the truth. You tell yourself the truth. You tell yourself the truth. You tell yourself the truth until you see the great possibilities that are everywhere. And then you live in the feeling tone of the possibility. Hear what I am saying to you today. Hear what I'm saying. There's a triumphant spirit, and you are to see yourself in the process of being initiated from one level of awareness to another. You are to come to an awareness that you are in an intense training that takes you beyond your exhaustion point so that you become a greater version of yourself. We are in the middle of American History Week, otherwise known as Black History Month, I should say. It's the shortest month of the year, so obviously, here we are. Anyway, you think about the fact, many of you may not remember this, but when Lyndon Baines Johnson was president of the United States, they authorized something called the Kerner Report, and there was a study of African Americans in America as to how they had survived during all the vicissitudes that we experienced. And when the report came out, it talked about chattel slavery, Jim Crowism, racism, public lynching, all the things that the African in America had gone through. And the report said this. The report said that based on everything that the African Americans had gone through, they should not exist in America. Yet, not only were African Americans in America, they had risen to the top of every single aspect of our society. Athletics, music, art, teaching, technology, healing, doctor. They had risen. They were at the top, even though, according to the Kerner Report, they should not even exist at all. You see, there's a triumphant spirit there. I think about this from time, and when I think about it, I think about Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the yoga of devotion. The yoga of you emotionally and devotionally just worshiping the presence of God. And I think about the triumphant spirit of the African in America, even though they had a terrible non-liberation theology. They had a theology of a white Jesus. They had a theology of God being somewhere other than they were. They had a theology of minding your master until you're good and go to heaven. They had a terrible theology, but transcended theology with a bhakti yoga of praise and thanksgiving to the Spirit of the living God that transcended a theology that was not only not liberating, was debilitating in many instances. They had poor diets too. And still emerged, still multiplying, still triumphant. Now, that praise and thanksgiving of the Spirit that transcended bad theology is a dimension of your spiritual practice. It means, as it states the scripture, you enter into the gates with praise and thanksgiving. This is a training because you are going to see with your eyes so many things not to praise, so many things that aren't quote unquote good. You're going to see so many. So you actually have to train your mind so that you begin to see possibility. So you see grandmothers knitting and praising God and praising Jesus and praising until the very chemistry of the body temple became a praise instrument, transcended a bad theology. You see, if we're not supposed to be here and we are here because of this triumphant spirit, can you imagine if we all had a liberation theology, such as what we're teaching here, truth teaching? If we all trained our minds, trained our bodies, trained our souls, and began to really believe what Jesus said, that the kingdom of God is within, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Really believe that the ground upon which we're standing is holy. Really believe, is it not written that ye are gods? Really believed that all the power and the presence and the love that is within you, but it's not going to come just through belief. It's going to come through practice until you get exhausted. And then when you're exhausted, you can't go anymore. That second win. You don't get a second win on the treadmill of life. You get a second win on the spiritual practice, you see. And you're able to see differently. I want you to know that when you move from moody blues, the moods that are clouds passing by, as Lee Brown wrote in her missive for her yoga practice teaching, as you move and begin to see that the moods you get into, you're not to be caught by them or to allow the moods to be an excuse for inaction or excuse for anything. Well, I just didn't feel like it. I wasn't in the mood. Shut up. Get off of it. Train yourself. The Winter Olympics are going on right now, and you see the example of individuals' performances that are showing such excellence and skill. And you know there's always a backstory to a lot of these athletes that either were injured or didn't have the proper facilities or just couldn't do what they mind wanted them to do. And then they kept doing it and kept practicing and kept practicing and kept practicing, didn't give up, didn't let the mood win, couldn't get up. And then finally, there was a new skill that emerged within them. Now, they are not just for us to just look at on television and say, "Woo, isn't that beautiful?" They are points of inspiration that we can then focus the light of God upon our own soul and in our own life go through this initiation process by deep and sincere training, not giving any excuses, so that as you become a next great version of yourself, catch this, all healing is a byproduct of expanded consciousness. When the consciousness expands, then the areas of your life begin to heal, which simply means in our teaching, it's a revelation of the intrinsic wholeness that's already there. But you've got to participate in it. We've got to participate. God's not coming down in the sky to help you. God's already here in you. But you have to do your training to set it free, you see. So if the African American, who's not even supposed to be here according to the Kerner report, because of all the stuff that's happened to us, and yet, as Maya Angelou would say, and yet we rise, it means anybody on the planet with enough devotion, training, intentionality, can break free from the little paradigms, the little points of view, and begin to live in a world of all needs met, feeling supported, feeling that every life is for them. Check this out. This is the thing about metaphysics. Even before it manifests. You know, Bob Proctor recently made his transition, and he liked to teach about the pre-manifestation consciousness. You know, I like to teach about the pre-manifestation consciousness. The vision, the possibility, you see. But it doesn't just roll in on the wheels of inevitability, as Dr. King would say. It comes through us, our tireless efforts of holding hands with the eternal. I want you to feel it in your bones now. I want you to feel it in your bones. So we come from the beginning. your triumphant spirit. It's initiation time. Remember, a shift of perspective, a shift of perception, a shift of context allows different thoughts to flow through you. When you're in a limited perception, I'm merely human. Yes, you're human. It's a beautiful thing to be human. But when you say, I'm merely human, I'm merely the son or daughter of my parents, I'm merely the product of my environment, you see, then the only thoughts that you can obtain would be thoughts that were limited to that perception. But when you expand, I live, move, and have my being in the presence of God. My spirit is triumphant. I can do anything. Whew. Now you open yourself up to the inspiration that's vibrationally matching that expanded consciousness. That inspiration is from the Godhead, it's from the presence. You begin to live in a different world even before you manifest it. And so all of the prayer, all of the meditation, people like to think, does it do anything? It's the only thing that does something, because someone has to live in the projected future in order for it to become our present. Someone has to live here vibrationally before it can manifest. You see, every great invention, every great song, every great choreography, every great thing that's come to the planet, somebody had to see it and feel it before it manifests. What are you seeing about your life right now? What's coming out of your mouth? Are you bemoaning your fate? You blaming people? Making excuses? As a mood got you? Stop it. Stop. Observe the mood. Observe it. Just look at it. Don't try to make it go away. Just observe it. And then, without resistance, kind of embrace it. Then notice the lie it's telling you about your limitation, about your lack. Some lie about the universe, you see. And then begin to tell yourself the truth, capital T, truth. My life is the life of God. Everything is working together for my good. All of my needs are met. Everything is always working together for my good. All my needs are always met. I feel divinely supported by a friendly, progressive universe. So you begin to tell yourself the truth, and then you'll begin to see possibilities. Now, once you begin to see a possibility, you're on your way to freedom. You see, it hasn't happened yet. I see the possibility. Possibility is always bigger than a problem. Potential is always greater than problem. You begin to see it. I'm telling you, it's initiation time. It's time for all of us to wake up so that we know in this particular moment where extinction is possible, it's really a moment of expansion. You think about the aphids. They eat the foliage off of trees, and they'll eat until it's all gone. And right when there's no more nutrition, they grow wings. Their next stage of evolution happens. It's initiation time for the human race. It's time to grow wings. We may not know what that looks like, but you can actually know what it feels like. It feels like all needs met. It feels like I'm loved and taken care of. That's what it feels like. And then we'll grow our wings and go to the next stage of unfoldment that we can't see right now. There's so much here, because oftentimes people are in control. They live in a linear dynamic, so their particular way of handling issues are linear. In a non-linear dynamic, everything is possible. That's where we got to live. That's where we got to live. Train your mind, see the truth. Train your body, body can heal anything. Train your soul, pray and meditate. But see it as this month, see it as a training. And do it when you don't feel like it. Breakthrough will happen. You'll be participating in your own initiation. And you'll enter into the gates with praise and thanksgiving, just as Africans in America have done with terrible theology, but transcended it with just a total love of the Spirit. Whew. What if you combine the bhakti, total love of the Spirit, with good theology? Ha! Many people are afraid of that. Come into the vibration. Let's celebrate it. That's it. Let's watch this person. Let's watch this person celebrate. Woo! Emily Williams from Chi-Town, Chi-Town, Chicago. You are the answer. You are the answer. Come on now. Emily from Chi-Town. That's great. She's from the Global Choir, and now she's from the Global Dancer. What about you? This is our privilege. You gave us a 2-minute version, but it's all worth it. She knows the lyrics and everything. Okay, Paul. There it is. Now it is time to celebrate. It's time to dance. You have to celebrate before manifestation. You have to hold the frequency before manifestation. Signs follow consciousness. They follow consciousness, you see. You see all kinds of signs as you're in your initiatory stage and expanding your awareness, then signs will follow the consciousness. Let's celebrate. Let's dance. Let's move. What you feel to be real, for show. Capital R, real. That which is eternal, that which is timeless, that which is forever, that which is of God. Let's feel our way into that. We enter into the spiritual gates this morning with dynamic praise and thanksgiving. A deep devotional feeling tone of absolute love for the presence of God that's everywhere. Love of life, love of beauty, love of intelligence, wisdom, transforming knowledge, love of love itself. Oh, we enter into this deep and abiding feeling tone, recognizing this presence that is where? Everywhere. And because it is everywhere, it must be where we are. It's got to be. It's omnipresent. And in this moment of feeling tone of the omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, omniactive, we hear the Spirit saying, come a little closer. We're one. We're one. We're together. We're one. Come wave, you're a part of the ocean. Come, sunbeam, you're a part of the sun. Come. Never separate, never separate, never separate, never separate. And in this consciousness of oneness, all things are possible. In this consciousness of oneness, the word that is spoken is carrying a frequency and a vibration of wholeness. And I speak it for all of us, knowing that there's only one of us here. One God, one power, one presence, one life, one love. That didn't break itself into parts, no. It's everywhere present in its fullness through that which looks like parts. All of us are carrying all of it. Think about it. Meditate upon it. All of us are carrying all of it. And in the allness of life, as I'm embracing the Agape nation, as I am embracing the entire nation, if I am embracing all the nations of the world, that we may turn our swords into plowshares, that we may see boundaries and borders as only distinctions of individual nations, but not separation from the rest of the world. That we finally may mature and move past the brink of extinction into an expansion of consciousness. This is what the people that are praying are bringing about. People that are meditating, visioning, doing kind acts. This is what's happening. We're seeding the mental atmosphere with possibility. Come into the upper room. Come into the upper room. Come into the upper room. Come upstairs. Come. Let there be peace. Feel this, you know. You've heard me say over the years, gotta feel it. Feel it right now. Feel it.
Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. be alright. Everything will be alright. You got to pray on. Pray on. Yeah. Just a little while longer. Pray on. Yeah. Just a little while longer. Pray on. Pray on. Just a little while longer. Everything, oh, it's gonna be alright. Everything will be alright. Won't you sing? Sing on. Sing on. Just a little while. Won't you sing? Just a little while. We've got to sing. Sing on. Just a little while. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything will be alright.
That vibration of holding on means that we are holding on to a higher frequency, holding on to a higher vibration. Everything is going to be all right, because at that vibrational level, it's already all right, but it needs an instrument of already all rightness to manifest. Hold on. Pray on. Sing on. Dance on. Love on. Give on.